Welcome back to Understanding Combat Sports Performance. And today, I want to give everybody at home some useful tips on how to select the right weights for your workouts. Now, we know the backbone of selecting the right weight comes from our percent regression charts, or we find our 1 rep, 3 rep, or 5 rep max, and then we work our way back based upon what reps, what sets, and what qualities we're trying to train in that given session. But that's a very rigid way to look at things. It doesn't allow for the day-to-day recovery scores, sleep scores, what you've eaten. It doesn't allow for the dynamicness of a combat athlete's lifestyle, whether recreational or professional. So I like to use a method called an RPE scale, or a ratings of perceived exertion. Now this scale is a 0 to 10, and allows us to get a number that includes this dynamicness because it changes day to day. Say you were doing 4 reps by 4 sets at trap bar deadlift, and I have you prescribed at an RPE of 8. On Monday, when you woke up at a 10 out of 10 recovery score, maybe that number is a 305 for 4 by 4. But maybe on Friday, if you woke up at a 2 out of 10 recovery score, that number shoots down to maybe 285, even 275. That's what allows us to try to hit our minimal effective dose and do as much as necessary, but as little as possible, without putting you further and further into the red when you're not recovering. Now, in this same vein, there's something called an RIR, or reps in reserve method. So very similar, we'll use the same scenario, 4 sets by 4 reps trap bar deadlift. I give you an RIR of 2, which means that for the 4 sets by 4 reps, I want you to use a weight that you think you can do 6 times. So we're not maxing out every time you step to the bar, but we're doing it to where you only have 1 or 2 reps left in the tank every time you do this lift. Now, it's just a different way to get to the same goal that some athletes may understand more than our RPE scale. And lastly, a little bit more of an advanced way to go about this that allows us to self-audit is called an APRE method, or auto-regulatory progressive resistance exercise. Now, this APRE method, it's a little bit more strict with how we do it. There's different ways to go about it, but the way I like is 1 warm-up set, 1 set at 50%, 1 set at 75% of your 3 rep max, and then we use the weight that we did our 3 rep max at, and we're gonna do a rep out. So what that means, you're gonna do as many reps as possible at your current 3 rep max. That allows us to figure out, all right, are we hitting 6 reps? Well, we know that either I'm way stronger that day, or I wasn't truly honest with my 3 rep max. So it's that built-in audit to figure out where we actually are. And then after that, we'll do our set prescribed sets and reps. So maybe it's a 1 by 3 at 50, 1 by 3 at 75, 3 rep max, rep out, and then we do 2 by 3 or 2 by 4. That's the setup I like to use for my advanced athletes in person and online. And I highly recommend, if you're to a point where you're feeling stuck in your training, to start implementing an APRE strategy, because it allows you to get through those plateaus by constantly challenging where your 3 rep max or whatever number you're picking is at. So if you want to get in touch with us to learn more about how to select the right weights, hit us up at Building a Fighter on Instagram, at Building a Fighter on YouTube, or head to buildingafighter.com, sign up for the newsletter, and then we have all this information being pumped out there, and we're able to send you guys emails and follow up on questions you may have.